Hey, Kim, thanks so much for jumping on with me. I'm super excited to get to talk to you about everything Nuieve. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I know I'm so excited. We've worked together for so long, so I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yes, over the last 5 years, we've seen a lot change, not just only in credit card processing, but the world as a whole. And that's really why I wanted to jump on today. I have a lot of clients that are trying to streamline their businesses, trying to get a better understanding of where everything's at, and just make things leaner because it's so hard to really forecast day to day. So, if you could give us a little history about you guys and what you do, I'd love to kind of get those questions answered for them.
Yeah, definitely. No, you're spot on. We hear this all the time. These are some of the big pain points. And fortunately, our integration covers a lot of that. But I'll start with a little background. So, Nuve, as a company, it's a global company based out of Canada, multiple office locations across 19 countries, and we continue to expand, which is just awesome. It was started in Canada back in 2003, then to the US, and then moved on to the global market, starting off in 10 countries and now on to 19. So it's been exciting to be a part of the growth and to have you guys join us on our journey ahead.
That's incredible. I didn't realize you guys were so global. I knew you were in a lot of places, but just the expansion, with the integration with Sage specifically, Sage is also a very global company. I'm curious what capabilities that Nuve has that maybe enhances Sage 100 and Sage Intacct.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that the number one thing is our commerce suite enhances the native payment capabilities. So Nuvei's Commerce Suite is built to extend and enhance the native AR functionality of Sage 100 and Intact, not replace it. It embeds seamlessly into your existing workflows. It allows your users to manage payments directly within the ERP without toggling back and forth between systems. And there's key enhancements, which include not only the integrated payment acceptance, but automated GL posting, streamlined cash application, and real-time reconciliations.
And it's crazy to think that there's really a lot that you can do with your credit card processor, right? Like, I think a lot of people just think of it as like everybody has to have a payment solution, right? But the thing I like about Nuve is it has, a suite of features that go together, right? So, for example, we have a lot of clients and we have a lot of people that are curious about click to pay and how that works within their environment.
Yeah, definitely. So Click to Pay is awesome. It's a really powerful feature that we've continued to develop over the past couple of years. But essentially, it allows customers to pay their invoices with a single click via a secure link. And the links can be embedded in email invoices, statements, or accessed through the customer portal. But for customers, it's intuitive, fast, and secure. There's no login or complex checkout needed. And then for the AR teams, it accelerates payments, reduces manual follow-up, and improves cash flow predictability. It also supports embedded payment options like surcharging, which is another hot topic, and saves payment methods securely for future use.
Talking about hot topics, surcharging is I can't even tell you how many people have called and said, How do we combat this? How do we get our bottom line lowered? How are you
Oh, yeah.
guys handling that?"
Oh, yeah. I mean, fee recovery is awesome for offsetting the cost of credit card processing fees and remaining compliant. So, Nuvei's fee recovery functionality enables businesses to pass along processing fees for credit card payments to their customers. It's fully automated. And this is especially valuable in B2B environments where margins can be thin and high transaction volumes means high fee exposure. The system ensures full transparency for the payer. They see a line item right there in the customer portal, and it's configurable so businesses can apply surcharging selectively.
Oh, that's cool. I think it's interesting to note, I think configurable 10 years ago, right, was like it's overly complex and customized and it's this whole thing. But now you're having these configurable options that just give you the ability to pick and choose when to use features, right? So it's really just about being able to create your own experience for your customer based on the relationship.
Definitely.
So you mentioned the customer portal, how does that improve workflows?
Yeah, no, it's good. It improves workflows and even the team overall satisfaction. The team that's there, it takes a lot of the manual work out of their workflow at the end of the month. But it's the customer portal, it's a self-service hub that allows customers to view open invoices, pay online, access statements, and manage saved payment methods, all without needing to call or email anyone. It reduces AR team workload by deflecting repetitive tasks like balancing queries, payment confirmations, and resending invoices. Customers appreciate the convenience, and internal teams gain more time for strategic initiatives rather than chasing payments. And the portal can be branded to create a seamless customer experience.
Oh, that's cool. So they know that they're at the right place because it has your branding on it. And
Yeah.
I think that's really important too. We don't have enough hours in the day, really. Everybody is doing 10x what we used to do, whether it's, kids' soccer games or, implementing new initiatives or redoing, certain inventories or product redesigns. We don't really have time for these manual processes anymore. So that's super cool that you take that workload off of AR. Now, I know you guys work with both Sage 100 and Sage Intacct. What does kind of the onboarding process look like that? If someone was to say, hey, I love the solution, I love the features, what's those next steps?
Yeah, definitely. The onboarding process is guided and efficient from the very first interaction all the way through to when your account is established and you've been onboarded and trained, and then for the life of your account, really. So, when you have some interest, you want to work directly with your partners at Stewart Technologies like Jessica and get in contact with, myself over here, you can email me at kimberly.roma@nuieve.com, and we can go ahead and kick off that journey. We'll do some discovery. We'll talk about pricing. We'll schedule a demo for you. And then once your account is established, we have a whole team of product specialists that are going to give you dedicated time and support and resources for implementation, training, onboarding, and then, like I said, through the life of your account.
That's one of my favorite things about partnering with you guys is you really do the lift, right? I know that if I have a customer that's interested in creating that relationship with you guys, that you're going to take care of them, right? I don't have to worry about any of the technical or support issues because your team is so robust and the product you have is so good. So, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about working at Stewart, right? Is since we're a boutique firm, we get to really pick and choose what partnerships we have and make sure that they're going to be the best solutions for our customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Kim, I know that Nuieve acquired Paya, and a lot of us in the industry still know Paya and Click to Pay. Kind of tell me that story a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. So Nuve started back in Canada in 2003, expanded to the US, and then moved to the global market, starting off in 10 countries, and now we're in 19 and continuing to look to expand over time. So it's been exciting to be a part of that growth and to have you guys join us on our journey ahead. And kind of the backstory behind that even was that Nuve acquired Paya in early 2023. Prior to that, Paya operated as Sage Payment Solutions. So I think a lot of people know us as Sage Payment Solutions still, even people that have been around for a long time. But definitely Paya, is a very well-known name. And this is kind of one of the biggest strengths of Nuive's Commerce Suite and our integrations with Sage 100 and Intacct. It's a deep native integration. This isn't a third-party workaround. It's a solution that lives inside your ERP using the same data and business logic.
Well, thanks for joining me here today, Kim. Before we head out, I'm just curious, what would you say is kind of the summation of Nuieve and its offerings?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'd want everybody to know just what's the benefit to you as a business owner. With integrated payments with Nuve, you're going to get faster payments and improve your cash flow. You're going to be looking at automated reconciliations and less errors. You're going to increase your efficiency and cost savings, and you're going to have a strong security and compliance.
Well, at Stewart Technologies, our mission statement is champions for efficiency. And so that's why we love partnering with you guys. Because at the end of the day, if we can all be a little more efficient and have more time to enjoy our lives or focus on strategic initiatives, I think we're all a little better off.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for joining me, Kim. We actually have a brief overview that Brandy is going to do for us. So I'm going to cue her in now, and she's going to show you what the Nuieve Commerce Suite looks like.
Thank you so much, Jessica and Kim. That was a fantastic talk. I really appreciate you letting me be a part of this. Hi, everybody. My name is Brandy. I am a director of product here at Nuieve, and I'm just going to take you on a quick walkthrough of the Commerce Suite. Now, when we talk about the Commerce Suite, what we're really talking about is the online payment methods that we can make available to your customers. I'm going to run this one through Sage Intacct only because it's a little bit easier with that online system. Just know that the process on the Commerce Suite side for Sage 100 is actually very, very similar. So as you can see here, I have one of my Intacct invoices open. And when we talk about integrated or embedded payments, this is exactly what we're talking about. What you can see here is that we have a Nuieve integration tab. We have this Pay with Nuieve button. These are things that are showing up directly within your ERP, whether it's Sage 100 or Sage Intacct, where we can actually go through the process of having a vaulted payment method, whether that's ACH or credit card. And we can go ahead and process that directly within the system itself. And it really gives us the ability to streamline that process for the merchant so that they can be inside their ERP and not have to go out to a separate portal in order to process those payments. Now, when we talk about Commerce Suite, that's really about enabling customers to handle their own payments so that merchants don't have to handle their payment information. Customers are enabled for the portal directly within their customer account. And as you can see here, I actually have a live view of whether or not a particular transaction, whether that's an invoice from accounts receivable or sales order, or a sales order itself, I can actually see that directly within the document. So I can see that this was synced to our online portal here. And when I go over to the portal tab, what I see is a payment link. This payment link is distributed to your customer in any way that you choose. That can be within the native print and email system of your ERP. In Sage 100, that might be electronic delivery with paperless office. Inside of Intacct, that could be just the native print and email system using the printed document templates. Regardless of how this link gets to your customer, what they're going to see when they click through to that link is going to be what we call the anonymous payment page. This page is going to be a branded page where the merchant gets to set what this looks like. That's going to include the customer's invoice information, including the original document from their Sage system. And you'll notice that I can click pay here without actually logging in anywhere. So this is a great way to kind of mimic a quick checkout or a guest checkout on an e-commerce site where your customer doesn't have to have an additional login to any other site in order to make their payment. We can access this secure link. The customer has the ability to go ahead and enter their ACH or their credit card payment information, including their billing address, and go ahead and process that. Now, one thing I do want to point out real quick on this screen is this line that says processing fee. This is that surcharge that you talked about earlier. This is the ability for the merchant to go ahead and assess a fee to the customer for utilizing one of these online payment methods. This is a merchant set calculation where the merchant gets to decide what this looks like. In my case, I've set up my system to do a 3% charge on my credit cards. And you'll notice that if I swap over to ACH, that number changes. So this is a live calculation that is fully transparent to the customer. They know exactly what they're being charged based on the payment method that they have selected. Now we are doing a little bit of compliance here. We are going to double check that the card entered is not we are going to double check that the card entered is not a debit card. So the card brands do restrict debit cards from having a surcharge applied. And so we do that check for the merchant so that they don't have to worry about that. So processing can take place here within this particular screen, which let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's do a MasterCard. And I apologize because I'm rather terrible at talking and typing at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and pretend that I know how to pass a CAPTCHA because I'm not fantastic at it. and then we can hit submit. So this screen is going to talk to the gateway is going to respond back, and the customer is going to get information about that transaction going through right then and there. So they are going to know that their transaction was successful. Now, there is an alternative to this one-to-one payment. If you have customers who have open accounts, maybe they prefer to have a single portal where they can see all of their invoices at once, as opposed to paying them one at a time. They do have the ability to create an account, and they can sign into that account directly from within our Click to Pay site. So when we look at this account, what we're seeing is an overview of the customer's account with you guys as the merchant. So they can see their invoices that are outstanding. If we have sales orders, we can see those as well. You'll notice that we do have some payment history in here. The first 5 payments are shown on this screen here on our landing screen, but I can always go over to my accounts and look at more information. I also have the ability to store my payment types. More and more in today's world, customers do not want to hand over their payment information, and who can blame them? Fraud is just a part of our world right now, and this gives customers the ability to control their payment account data without passing that on to the merchant. It also protects the merchant, right? Because it allows the merchant to kind of stay out of the middle of that. They're not handling any of that. There's no PCI compliance issues. It really kind of works for everybody to make the process a little bit easier and a little bit safer. And once there are stored payment methods, this is one of the biggest advantages to customers having an account. Not only can they store those payment methods, they can actually use them to pay outstanding invoices. So we can actually come out here as the customer, we can take a look at what we've got outstanding and actually choose to begin payment. Again, we're going to be taken to a screen that looks much like what we saw on the payment link, but as you can see, we have the ability to use one of those saved payment methods, whether that's a card or an ACH. And I can go ahead and enter that in. Now, what you'll notice, I know that happened real quick, this saved payment method is a Visa, and in my case, my Visa is actually a debit card. So you can see here where that surcharge or that processing fee line actually went away because that compliance for not charging the surcharge on the debit card actually appeared right there automatically. And so as the customer, again, I can just go ahead and pay this very quickly, very easily, and all securely within the Commerce Suite Click to Pay site. Now, one of the things that you'll notice as we're looking at this screen is I've got, kind of this blue bar at the top. My logo is here. This is the merchant logo. This is the merchant color story that they get to tell through the branding of this portal. So the customer is going to actually see all of that branding come through, and that type of consumer confidence and just reinforcing the brand really helps the customer to know that they are working with this particular merchant. They know that this is a legitimate site and that this is a site that the merchant is using and the customer can trust for processing their payments. Now, just to close the loop real quick, you can see that if I come back into my Intacct system and I hop over into accounts receivable, receive payments new, I'm actually going to see that payment that we processed together right here. So I can actually see the 6-digit authorization code. I can see the payment transaction information. And when I drill down into the invoice, I can actually see that that was paid via credit card. And so I have updated Intacct with all of that payment information without touching anything as the merchant. That just all came directly into my system and has updated that invoice as paid and ready to go. This was just a very high level quick overview of both the integrated payments and the Commerce Suite system. The standard demos are available, so please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you guys determine if this is a system that would be great for you guys moving forward. Thanks so much.